Welcome to the Positive Images Poetry Evening at the Basin. For those who don't know me, I can't think there are many who don't. I'm kind of chair of the festival. Almost a year ago, I think it was August the 4th, in this very venue, we had a poetry event. And the poetry event was organised by Leanne Bridgewater. I'm not going to say too much, so I'm going to pass over to Ray Boyle in a minute. He's going to introduce the local poets to you. But we all miss Leanne terribly, and we miss her in many ways. But certainly, for me, in Positive Images, she was a brilliant support. Someone had fantastic ideas. I didn't always understand what her ideas were. You know, she was a bit of a machine gun delivery, wasn't it? But I sort of followed as best I could in my, the age I am these days. So we thought we would mark tonight as a tribute to Leanne. So we've asked certainly the local poets if they'd like to read in her memory. So it may be something she's written, it may be something they have written about Leanne, it may just be a poem that they would like to read.
Last time I was on this stage, Colin said Leanne was here as well. It was a very similar event to this, the 2018 Positive Images Festival, and Leanne was the one doing the introductions. And she was always a brilliant host, she didn't need a clipboard or nothing. And I wish she was here tonight. It's a bit scary, isn't it? It's an audience, lots of eyes looking at you. But I figure really what's to be scared of, because the focus is on Leanne, not me. So the important thing is to give her a good event, an event where we remember her, an event where we honour her memory, an event where everyone has fun. Pretty much all my memories of Leanne are of people having fun, so we can't let her down in that respect. And it's a Friday night, so come on, it's going to be alright, it's going to be good fun. Leanne was a friend of mine, we met because of poetry, and over the years since then, many of the poetry things I've been involved in are linked to Leanne in some way. I respected her as a writer, as an artist and a performer, and as a human being as well, an original, one-of-a-kind human being. I was going to read a little chunk of her own poetry for you from this. Confessions of a Cyclist. But I was reading it earlier and I realised pretty fast that it works better as a whole, and you really need to hear it in her voice, which you can do in your own head. So I recommend you kind of get a copy and have a read. I'm not going to do it here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read a poem for you that I wrote, and then I'll bring back tonight's other poets. So this is for Leanne. The world needs more women, crazy enough to be themselves, whose boots made of springy compassion trample down the paths of least resistance in any given conversation. The world needs more quirk. The world needs more out there every night in the frozen field, fighting to save the things you love. The world needs more mischief and mayhem, sincerity and singularity. The world has been robbed. Assumption, a mistake. We were secure. Plenty more years ahead to admire how you tinker with society, bump into you in pubs and galleries, watching your chatter play narrow minds like a pinball machine, your directness spinning them off in all directions. Some artists spend years trying to develop personas as refreshing as your personality. I think I hear you laughing. But refreshing makes you sound like a cocktail. If anything, you are Molotov, smashing through ideology, curdling vanilla froth, a searing attack on convention, sounding alarm bells to wake up shouted lives as the lies they live behind are gobbled up by flames. I get it now. I thought you were unafraid, when secretly you were being so brave. Pedestaled you as shining example of how to live full-time as yourself, to tear up the rulebook of everyone else, doodle on those paper tendrils and scatter them, swaying, arms waving. And the whole time, you were smiling through pain, dancing in spite of, not in triumph over this world, in chemistry playing silly buggers in the brain. Whatever the neurotransmitters whispered, you were not a stain, but you are indelible, an impression that remains. Endless refrain of a song where I don't claim to understand all the lyrics, but I'll cradle it to my ears on repeat and cherish the harmony all the same.
They swirled like gaudy litter in a breeze. They yapped like hungry sea lions in a zoo. Swapped brightly coloured coats like teenage girls as up and down the altar steps they flew. A giggling whirl of little flashing lights with selfie sticks and phones, they held the floor. The ladies from Japan's exuberant shoot reigned in the church for nearly half an hour. 24 sombre Europeans sat and silently existed in that space. A Finnish woman shushed the Japanese. 2 seconds passed, the shoot began again. Perhaps a German snapped a single shot. A Spaniard had the altar in her sights. But largely, we became the congregation as Asian priests performed exotic rites. And cue.
Whilst her mind clouded and misted with pain, her heart spoke of wondrous things. Her soul captivated. Fly, it said. But her mind hearing it only as a whisper on the breeze, until one day her heart burst forth. No longer contained, listen, it said. Her mind heard the magical utterances of her heart. Her soul rejoiced in the song it sung, that she grew wings and soared.
The following satellites confirmed Gaza was there. Sun, Moon, unclassified planet Beta X, and one launched by Sky. Yet, on Earth, no one saw Gaza until it vanished like icebergs in a plastic sea. Something has malfunctioned in sensors from the Great Wall of Israel. They are detecting heat signatures of a man hitting cranes with stones. A soldier has not sensed a human. He shoots the shape to blue. The following leaders confirmed Hamas was there. Trump never saw children shot into vegetables whilst tanning on his front. And Boris never wanted to get into it as Brexit struggled from a bulldog's ass. Something has malfunctioned because Gaza is definitely there just about. A guard of the theft gives a pensioner water, then shoots her point blank. Maybe I never saw that because Gaza is not there in the civilized world.
If cattle had biology classes, would teachers' tails swish to reveal chalk cow outline? Repeat after me. Hooves, heart, udder. Or would the visual be sliced into neat rectangles? Repeat after me. Flank, sirloin, shank. While front row Taurus, thinking of his mother, lets milky tears spill down velvety cheeks, and little Maverick expands her nostrils, snorts out warm clouds that swirl and disappear above dewy clover. A scene she will later describe in magazine interviews as the exact moment she decided she was nobody's meat, and that society could keep its labels.
The wild words our mouths make can't stitch the wounds the world has, nor heal the broken frond on the roadside, restore the lost heart. But still we sing among the trees what songs we can that might awaken kindness, concern, love's wisdom, the engaged bounty of our actions, invocations, animal spirits, loving hands. Forthright, the light sprang from her lips, her voice shone. She suffered, she is gone, we won't forget her.
Walking back from the corner shop in semi-dark, through discarded chicken bones and used condoms, between the concrete walls and leprous plains, a lonely blackbird shrieks, and I try to sigh away the day. Rustles have me peering through deep shadows, expecting rat. Sour chemical residues rise from scuffed soil under the holly, but instead, the gently padded predator of discarded snacks, a fox, crosses my path. We regard each other. She sniffs. My breath's held in like my limping desire while she prowls free, rufous-furred, a wild thing, examining me as I imagine a visitor to a zoo might pityingly observe the caged ape. And she turns, leaves me with all my unnatural restraint, and struts away.
Time ticks off its fleeting cast, waves away mute hand claps, shrink distant urgency. Fledgling chevrons crown spires, pledge descent wreathed in spirals unspun, drawing thread from captive glances, zip closed after plumes, towards constant dissolve of sky into air, between breaths tied to sighs, knots blown through silence to become moments. All this, in this instant, came as it went.
A pair of goth girls sharing headphones in a bus shelter on Buckingham Palace Road. Impasto mountainscapes avalanching from the white walls of the Cork Street Gallery. Shopfront, Old Bond Street, reflecting a lone Sloane Ranger adrift amongst a sea of handbags in Yves Saint Laurent. Cracking teeth on complimentary cocoa beans in Buick Street while signing a petition to keep the market open. Sharing a falafel bag in Brewer Street with the world's worst street conjurer and his magic dog. Feeling small in Little Russell Street. Catching Miffy's vacant gaze, inscrutable as ever in the doorway of the Cartoon Museum. Sitting on a wet chair, sketching London plains among the pigeons as the sun pokes through, warming Russell Square.
days I feel like I probably never break free from this poverty that surrounds me diabolically. The ideology of success is a poor one, but my bones ache through it horribly. You can see it in my eyes, no need for iridology. I'm trying to balance my mind with constant psychology, but there's no change in my pocket, so I never profit honestly. The empty bank balance haunts what is mocking me. Insufficient funds, I need smoke in my lungs. I can't even pay the rent for my property. It's not like I'm twiddling thumbs, I'm trying to stack funds. It's not fun. No, it's not fun living in poverty. No, it's not fun. Different day, same post, no fact check, just bare bills sitting on my front doorstep. I'm owed debt, I'm in debt. They borrowed P, never got it back, so I borrowed P to pay my debt. Now I'm up to my eyeballs in a downward spiral. When the fuck will this suck less? When I'm up on my success, I guess. So right now I'm hustling hard, cause I'm struggling hard. Most these rappers won't admit it, that's why they only chat about fresh crepes and garms. How to go hard and drive German cars and use £50 notes to wipe their ass. You must be having a laugh, being broke in a joke. Cause I know peeps that sell beats and shop whites and sell weed just to make those ends meet. And I know peeps on the streets 25/8 cause there ain't enough days in the week. And I know peeps that go deep for the P, the shit that do for the what, you be shocked. And I know peeps that go low for the dough for a £10 note, host will suck your cock. Yeah, this is the city I live in. Fuck the government, fuck benefits Britain. Everyone around me is trying to make a living, even if it means facing prison. Selling a little bit of weed or mixtape CDs or bootleg DVDs or bags to the fiends.
Yeah, so I wanted to say thank you to, for you guys for putting on tonight and everybody that's come. As you know, Leanne was a crazy but eccentric and fun-loving, hugging character. And I just wanted to say one line from Confessions of a Cyclist, which really sticks with me. So it's, push the sky and watch the stars fall out. And that's something that always sticks with me. So when I look at the stars, I always think that, yeah, Leanne's pushed the sky and it's fallen out. So, yeah, so thank you guys.
Let me tell you about the wolf. Let me tell you about the wolf. How he howled, how his coal eyes glittered, how his gait was a leaf testing the snow, and with every muscled flex he rippled. Around him the air sang, off-key and starving. He was a spectrum of colour, a craving, his fur like a hand on my skin, his predatory circling. He stood on hind legs as though he were a man, and I knelt before him like a dog. At the rake of claws across my back, I keened like scratched alabaster, begged him for more. Count to 10, he said, and I did. His breath was carnivore hot on my stomach, my breasts, my throat. My skin became 1,000 tiny flares, became fur. I offered my blood to his teeth, their yellow gleam against vulnerable gums, the stench of kills sighing from his maw, and drained myself to let him in. But wolves are fickle, and wolves cannot be tamed. I want to tell you that I ripped his pelt from his bones, wrapped it round my body like a scent. Or I want to tell you that I left, found someone better, a woodcutter perhaps, a happy ever after. Or I want to tell you that when the tide is up, I prowl along the shore, listen to a distant wailing at the moon. Instead, let me confess how I led him into the winter night, desiring petals of blood in the snow, his dark form shifting like a bruise, the ice splintering. How there he bent his body like a moan, clasped me to him, committed the worst betrayal a wolf can, transformed into a man.
In a stranger's house, she waltzes with my boyfriend Tamala and tells me about emotional labor and that I am much younger. Her name is so moneyed I could call her Lulu or Allegra and she'd respond. When she is tired of waltzing, she twists her arms around Peter, who is passing out on the sofa, and says, "She can tell I don't trust other women." "No, darling, just you." Her voice is a wire coat hanger. I hang what I want on it, but now, the gin stinging my teeth, I only want her to admit she's taken dance lessons and who paid for them. She dresses beautifully, like the girl who bullied the school shooter, and in another life we get cappuccinos, and she tells me what sex with my boyfriend is like, focusing mainly on the lingerie she wore, and how she wouldn't let him touch her until she could tell he was so hot he would come immediately when she permitted it. I've never seen a smile so white as when she tells me how she washed the semen from his stomach in the porcelain sink, and just how many times he said sorry.
In a suitcase, your years at the lit bus stop, laughing loud and long, the top of your lungs a screaming fox, you had stopped to tell me you were gone. Yesterday a word dark on your lips. Chips, I remember, we split in the rain. A fizzing last laugh in a childhood lane, smacking our knees as the trees threw their bats. Again as the street lamps hung in their hats, I remember we dreamed at the back of a class a lost and dizzy tomorrow. Remember that? Most of those stars left long ago. Holly, the river has forgotten your name. No, your broken light the same to me, cracked black by the decades we did not see from your garden gloom. That night, as I walked the last mile home, a scrap of your laugh clung to the wind, and your bicycle bell, 50 years long, thinned to a song I have heard since then, your afterglow gone. Do you remember the thunder like a great amen? I looked on. Thank you.
Yam Yam's diner. Somewhere beyond all this, I'm elbows down on the counter in Yam Yam's diner, sunflower oil slicking my ponytail, ruby t-shirt, blue apron, Our Lady of Perpetual Succor. All a hard-working man might stoop to kiss the knuckles of, stagger out in the diesel yellow morning, yearning for the taste of, serving a little chick and bab, tea slurry with sugar, bacon with a sly crisp of skin, bread thick as a dictionary, flipped to the entry, clam to jet. And I'd love them, the men, in their overalls and boots you could stamp on the toes of, the tired ones, the trodden, the young, their chins still soft with bum fluff. I'd hold their dreams so tenderly, understanding that there's no heaven but this, a grease-spangled porter cabin, the rhyme the body yields when it's finally full. So get it whilst you can. By 3 I'll be gone. Tables wiped, shutters down, already feeling the afternoon sun on that soft, bare spot on my neck. The scent of fat and salt swinging like incense as I pull out the pins and let loose my hair.